Welcome back to JZFishing, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about both me and Zach's kayak setups. We're going to be walking you guys through these kayaks and showing you how we've rigged them up for fishing here in the Bay Area. Before I talk to you guys about my kayak, I want to tell you guys that every single piece of gear that we talk about in today's video, whether it's on my kayak or Zach's kayak, will be linked down in the description box below on a Google Doc categorized between mine and Zach's. And
Is that on the link?
That is. This PC Fun alloy is on the link. It's a great reel. You should buy it. One other thing too, we're gonna try and update this Google Doc as much as possible to give you guys the best prices on all these gear. So if you're looking for the cheapest prices on the best gear for kayak fishing, check the Google Doc below. If you guys are new to our channel, my name's Joe. Zach's behind the camera. Together we make JZFishing. And recently we bought 2 kayaks and we've loved them so far. This one is a Old Town Sportsman 106 PDL pedal drive driven kayak, which means that it includes this nifty system right here, which is actually super expensive. This system alone costs about $1,200, and it lets you kind of pedal like you're biking as a method of propulsion. Let's just start at the bow of the boat and make our way back. Up here at the bow, we have this grab handle that was included with the boat. I bought this as an extra grab handle. It's honestly been super nice, especially considering most of the spots that we fish at, we're walking to them from our car. And so it makes walking with this boat a lot easier. It's like $4, and I would highly suggest including it on your kayak. This is the front hatch that comes standard with the kayak. It is completely waterproof if you have it strapped down. Super useful. I actually made a mistake and got some water inside the kayak, which I've just yet to get out yet. But if it's dry, you can put, like your phone in a dry bag or your lunch or any other gear up here, and it's going to be completely protected from the elements, especially if you're fishing in saltwater. Let's move on to the drive system itself. This is kind of what you would see on a bicycle, right? The propeller is down there. It's a propeller, not a fin system, and you have these 2 little pedal kickers right here. My favorite part of the drive system, and actually one of my favorite parts of the kayak in general, is this right here. This is a dry storage box that when this pedal drive is fully put down, is actually flush with the kayak itself. You open it up here. I actually have my keys inside here. I typically put my keys, my wallet, anything that I want to have easily accessible when I'm kayaking, I put in there. That is completely waterproof. I've actually flipped in the surf twice and never once got a single drop of water inside of that bin. So super watertight. I damn near trust it with my life. It is a awesome little hatch. Genius. All right, now we're gonna move over to these tracks here. These are 2 double orange kayak tracks, and over on this side, I have a Railblaza GoPro Mount. That's because we film all of our videos and put them up on YouTube. So this is what I use to film. I like it a lot. The only thing that I would say is their locking mechanism can sometimes be a bit tricky. It can be hard sometimes to unlock it. I mean, as you can tell now, I'm kind of struggling to unlock it. And it's the same when it goes to locking. It's a little bit cheaply made, and the mount itself is $65, so I probably would have expected a little bit more quality from them. Honestly, they're kind of the only one on the market, so that's just kind of what I went with. But honestly, if there was someone else that would make a GoPro mount that does this same thing, I would definitely try them out before the Railblaza. I don't have it in right now, but in this pocket right here, that's typically where I put my pliers, my knife, my scissors, just anything that I need easily accessible that I don't mind getting wet. If we're gonna walk all the way over to the other side of the kayak, we're gonna find our other orange track. Same thing here. This pouch just has, pliers, scissors, fish grippers. I sometimes will put an extra weight in there when I'm trolling for halibut. And then on this orange track, I have my rod holder. Now, this is a Yak Attack rod holder, and I absolutely love this rod holder. Zach has one from Railblaza, and I much prefer this over his that he has from Railblaza. It's pretty expensive, but 100% worth it, especially when you're trolling for some bigger fish. This thing will be able to withstand a big strike from a big fish. So if you're looking for a saltwater rod holder, Yak Attack is the move. Moving back now to the seat. I think they did a really good job with the kayak seat. The only thing that I will say, and this is probably my least favorite part of the kayak in general, is that putting this seat on is it's kind of a pain in the ass. For whatever reason, these release clips are kind of clunky. Sometimes they don't want to come on, sometimes they don't want to come off. They're just super, super weird in general. They can be really finicky, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass in general. Another nice engineering aspect of this seat that I really like is they have this space here where you can slide lunch, extra clothing. It's not going to be waterproof, but it's just, you know, another area where you can have some extra storage. One of the things that this kayak does not lack at all is space. There's always space everywhere in this kayak, so you can load this thing down with a ton of gear. Moving back here, we have one rod holder that's in the kayak. I very rarely use this rod holder while I'm fishing. It's typically only for transporting the rods. This is our stringer. And this is what we put the fish on when they have been caught, when we're bleeding them. We learned the hard way not to keep the fish on the stringer in the water while you're fishing, otherwise the seal will take this. And I have this just clipped to a line here so it's not gonna go anywhere. I also have this on a bungee cord, that way it can stretch, but a rope will do you just fine. Like I said earlier about the storage, more dry storage in the back here. This is actually gonna connect with the front of the boat over there. So great, great storage. Like I said earlier, they don't lack at all in storage. Let's actually go under the boat here now for a second and take a look at these wheels. So this is a kayak cart. It looks really, really stupid, but it's actually completely necessary. If you guys were to buy this kayak today and ask me, what's the first thing for you to buy? I would 100% say the fishing wheels. They're gonna help you transport the kayak from your car to the lake, because 99% of the time, when you take your kayak off the top of your car or out of the bed of your truck, you're gonna have to walk a little bit to the shore spot, and you never wanna carry this thing with one hand or even two hands. You just slide the wheels under. I'll show you how easy it is to carry this boat. It probably weighs 130 pounds right now the way it's rigged up. Okay, of course it's in the grass, but you get the point. Super, super easy. I'm not struggling at all. I could walk with this a mile. Actually, where we're filming at right now is about half a mile away from my house, and I walked it here with no issues whatsoever. So, it's $50. Just get it. It's absolutely a necessity. This is the gaff that I use. It's a FiberLink FibLink froppy fish. We should know what the froppy fish is. A FiberLink froppy fish. It is a 3-foot gaff. I've got a tennis ball on here, completely a necessity, because it's going to make sure that that hook point, which is very sharp, is not exposed when you're transporting, so it doesn't go in someone's hand, or even worse, someone's head. Super, super simple. Just take a tennis ball, pop it on the hook, make sure no one gets hurt. While we're on this side, let's talk about this paddle. I should get a better paddle. It's super important to have a nice paddle, but this is just a cheap one that I found on Amazon for like 20 bucks. I rarely need to use it, but hypothetically one day I might need to in an emergency situation. Let's go back here to the kayak crate. We talked about the kayak cart earlier. This is actually the kayak crate, completely different thing. This one is a kayak crate from Yak Gear. I think it's the same company that makes my rod holder. I bought this thing on Amazon for like 35 bucks. It's pretty much just a milk crate with 2 rod holders on the side, which is an absolute necessity because the majority of the time I'm taking either 2 or 3 rods out on the water with me. I usually put all my tackle back here, all my sunscreen, bobbers, all the stupid stuff that is super necessary for a trip out on the water. Another thing that I actually two things that I don't have on the kayak right now is a kill bag. Usually I have a kill bag, and I have typically put it underneath the seat, but unfortunately there were some complications with the old kill bag and it had to be thrown out. So I'm ordering a new one that actually goes up on the front of the boat, and it's gonna sit right there. Going back to the back of the boat, I usually bring 1, 2, 3 rods, and then a gaff, and then a net. This is just a basic fishing net. I'm actually looking to buy a net with a rubber lining, so that way I can net the shaker halibut. And then if we go all the way back, the very last thing on this boat is this rudder. This thing plops down when I'm in the water, and it's what keeps me direct. It's gonna direct me from left to right. I have a rudder shaft up there that I use to direct this rudder. And, that's how this system works. I put a bunch of stickers on this boat just to kind of customize it and make it my own. And there are definitely some things that I still need to add to this boat. I want to get a fish finder. I want to get that kill bag up front. In a perfect world, if I got a second GoPro, I'd love to put that on the gaff or the net. But that's kind of the basic setup. I love it. I think the 10-foot size is perfect. I was in between the 10-foot or the 12-foot. And after using the 10-foot for a while, I'm very happy I went with the 10-foot. I car topped this kayak on a 2004 4Runner, and it fits perfectly, slides on no problem. I can easily take it on and put it on by myself with the set of wheels. And yeah, that's my boat. If you guys have any questions about this specific boat, leave them in the comment section below. And before we go to Zach's house to talk about his boat, I just want to reiterate that if you want to get any of the gear in today's video, any of the rod holders, rods, the boat itself, the kayak crate, the rod holders, anything at all, we're going to have it all linked in a Google Doc down below. And we're going to categorize everything between Zach's kayak and my kayak. So with all that being said, let's go to Zach's house to hear him talk about his.
All right, guys, we're at my house now with my Perception Showdown 11.5 pedal drive kayak. Pedal somewhat drive kayak. I'll explain that later. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of similarities with Joe and my kayak. We're gonna basically just walk through all the stuff in my kayak, and I'll explain the differences. And if we have anything identical, I'm probably just gonna mention it once and walk through it. So yeah, to start, in the front, very similar situation with Joe. I got a storage box here. This one is only water resistant, so if it's like, just get a few splashes on, it'll be fine. But if you're in some rough waters where it's constantly lots of water is coming in, it's gonna get a little bit wet inside there. So I don't put any of my like extreme valuables in there, like phone, wallet, keys. I have a separate little box for that. But yeah, super handy. Like right now, I'll open it up for you guys. I got my tackle box, these bags with fishing gear, and I'll have even more in there. I'll have like a battery and stuff, my fish finder in there. It's just a really handy little box right there up in front, really accessible for my seat. Moving back, we got the pedal drive, super lightweight pedal drive, and for its size, it's super small as well. It actually makes you go super fast. You don't have to pedal a ton to get going. Super easy to take out and in. There's this little pin right here. You just pull that out, and then if I'm in the water, I'd pull it down, put the pin back in, and yeah, super simple. I've had issues with it before. This is actually the second pedal drive I've had. The first one I had, it was defective. I think that was kind of a one-off. This pin right here, honestly, we flipped the kayak. I think the pin kind of got a little bent when we did that, and I had to replace it. But they're super helpful at Perception. They'll get back to you within 3 days. It took me probably 3 or 4 weeks to, they just sent me a little return slip where I sent my old one back. They sent me this one, and I was back on the water. But in the meantime, while I was doing that, I got a motor. So yeah, guys, while my pedal drive was away for about a week or so, I already wanted it, but it kind of just incentivized me more to buy it. I got a Newport Vessel 46-pound thrust trolling motor. This thing has been freaking awesome. It's a 5-stroke trolling motor, so I got 5 speeds to go forward, and I got 3 speeds to go in reverse as well. Super helpful. If you look in the back here, I'm kind of moving back and forth, but I got my battery box here. There's no battery in it right now, but my battery will go in there. This connects to it. It is super convenient when I'm on the water. I don't even need a pedal out. I do just in case to save battery with this thing, but for trolling, it makes it 10,000 times easier. And when salmon season hopefully comes back in the following years, this is gonna be super nice for salmon season. So yeah, moving on. We got on the side here, we got 2 rails. We got one there, one here. We'll start on the side that Joe's on over here. So yeah, I got a Railblazer rod holder. This is super inexpensive. I think it cost me like 25 bucks. It gets the job done. I've had 0 issues with it. It's super adjustable, move up and down, super easy to take on and off. I don't think you need a really expensive rod holder. This is perfectly fine for any fish in the bay. Even if a stingray gets it, it's not moving. This thing is freaking durable, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, these are super nice track mounts. One of the things about Joe's kayak is these track mounts freaking suck. It is impossible to put his thing on and off, which is why he has to actually disconnect it and pull it off himself. The tracks on the Perception's a lot better. Going over to the other tracks, I got 2 things. I got the same exact thing Joe has to hold his GoPro, so I'm not gonna go in depth about that because Joe already talked about it. This is one thing Joe doesn't have, a fish finder. I have the Garmin Striker 4 fish finder. Super handy. I don't have the batteries right now, so I'm not going to turn it on. And yeah, some people like to put the transducer and they'll have a spot under the kayak. I actually do, but it's a lot easier to have it here. Basically just twist this once you're on the water, put it down, and then when you're coming back, put it up. Super easy. And this wire, I'll have a tiny little battery for the fish finder that'll go right in here. And since this is water resistant and my battery is also water resistant, that thing ain't going nowhere. That thing's not getting broken. So that is super nice to have. I highly recommend having a fish finder here in the Bay Area, because if you have a fish finder, you can find the bait. If you find the bait, you can find the bigger fish. If you find the bigger fish, you have a happy day of fishing. So super nice. Highly recommend it. Pretty basic seat. Goes up and down. Not much to that. So it has a little bit of a storage area under here where I'll show you. I have the same thing Joe has. It's a stringer.
See?
It's a stringer. And yeah, I got it on a bungee cord as well, so that'll go in the water. I got some rope here in case I need rope. That also is just stored under here. If I need to tow Joe or he needs to tow me, super helpful. What else I got? It has 4 built-in rod holders. I got a little baby gaff. I think it's a little bit easier to control and gaff the fish with this thing. So yeah, I got 4 rod holders built into it, and I would have 2 rod holders in my crate back here, but that's being used up by my motor mount, which is super nice to have. It'll fit in any kayak you won't have. It sadly didn't fit in my rod holders because they're a little bit skinny, but my rod holders are already skinny enough. But luckily it fit in my kayak crate perfectly. I'll have this linked in the description in our little dock below if you want it. Highly recommend it. This kayak has a lot of storage. Under here has a complete dry well, which opens up nice and easy. You can open it up, fit anything you want down there to get it if you don't want it dry. I don't have it on the boat right now, but I have a little dry box as well where I'll keep my phone, wallet, keys, extra GoPro batteries. And yeah, last thing I'm going to show you guys in the kayak is if you look under here, got the same exact wheels Joe has. You need them. If you're kayaking here in the Bay Area, you need them. You're never going to get to a spot where you can take the kayak off your car and put it right in the water. You're going to need to walk a little bit. Most we've walked for kayaks are about half a mile, but this makes it so much easier. So highly recommend that. All right, guys, this is the battery I have. It is a Super Start Marine Deep Cycle. It is very important you get either deep cycle, or some motors will take lithium ion batteries, but deep cycle is usually the best to last you a bit longer. This is a freaking huge battery. I don't think you need one this big. How many amps? This has 750 marine cranking amps at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't need this much. I wanted this a battery that'll last me forever. And this is not, I'm not gonna lie, this isn't a great brand, so having more amps, it isn't the worst thing. I got this little charger here. This charger, it's from Schumacher. Schumacher?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Schmucker.
This is the battery charger I'm using, you guys. It's from Schumacher. Super nice and easy. It's got a 15 amp rapid charger and a 3 amp maintainer. Plugged into the wall. Super simple. All you need to do to charge it, clip this clip to the negative one, clip this clip to the positive one, and then on this battery thing, first it'll tell you the voltage that's at. If you press start and give it a second, there you go. This will show what the type of battery is, you guys. This is a 12-volt battery. Super important. You want to use a 12-volt battery for all trolling motors, unless you have like an 85-pound thrust trolling motor for whatever reason. And it shows you the percentage that it's at, which is super helpful. Right now it's at 72%. So yeah, it only takes about a couple hours to go from 0 to 100%. And yeah, highly recommend this battery charger.
You showing me your cock right now?
No, I'm like right before it.
All right, guys, real quick, for the end of today's video, I just kind of want to talk about how we transport these kayaks to the fishing spots. So I have a 2004 4Runner. I have no problem putting my kayak on my car, but unfortunately, Zach has a 2012 Range Rover Evoque, and he can't put that shit on his car because he's a little chicken in kind.
I want to show you guys this amazing moon roof my car has. Very luxurious.
But it makes it impossible for him to put it makes it almost impossible for him to put a kayak on top of his car. So what we do is we actually rent a U-Haul trailer. I believe it's an 8x12, 6x12 trailer. We'll have it linked down in the description box below. And we actually put both of the kayaks in
We're like in U-Haul.com.
But yeah, we use that trailer to transport the kayaks. We actually hook it up to my car. That's how we hook it up to our car. We slide both the kayaks in, they fit perfectly right next to each other, and then we slide them out. I don't know anyone else that does that. It's actually super cost efficient too. It's only like $30 a day, which is, for the most of the spots that we go to, which is about an hour away, is kind of what it would cost for Zach's gas. So it usually ends up evening out. It's typically a little bit more expensive, but that's the way we take our kayaks to the spots. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday, 5 p.m.